Offshore Monologue, Driller's Perspective. Jake Morrow, Driller, Platform Hercules 4. Who I am and what I do. My name is Jake Morrow, and I work as a driller on an offshore oil platform. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and every single day out here teaches me something new. A driller is the person responsible for operating the drilling equipment on the rig floor. I control the rotation, the weight on the bit, the pump pressure, and the overall progress of the well. Everything that happens below the surface starts with the decisions I make up here on the floor. The shift and the handover. Before I start any shift, I always sit down with the Toolpusher. The Toolpusher is my direct supervisor on the rig, and he oversees the entire drilling operation. Every morning we go through what happened during the previous 12 hours. I need to know the current depth, the drilling rate, any equipment issues, the crew situation, and any safety events that occurred overnight. I never touch the controls before I fully understand what the well has been doing. That handover is one of the most important moments of the day, and I take it very seriously. Reading the well. One of the most critical skills a driller must have is the ability to read the well. That means paying close attention to the drilling rate, which is how fast the bit is cutting through the rock. If the rate suddenly drops, it usually means one of two things. Either the formation has changed and become harder, or the bit is worn out and losing its cutting efficiency. Both situations require a decision. You either adjust your parameters and monitor closely, or you make the call to trip out of hole and change the bit. That decision costs time and money, so you never take it lightly. The bit and the trip. The drill bit is the tool at the very bottom of the drill string that actually cuts through the rock. It does not last forever. After a certain number of hours, drilling it wears down and its performance drops. When that happens, we have to trip out, which means pulling the entire drill string out of the hole to replace the bit and then running everything back in. A round trip can take 8 hours or more, depending on the depth. It is not something you want to do unless you have to, but running a bad bit is always worse than losing the time to change it. Mud and well control. Drilling mud is one of the most important elements in this job. It is not just dirt and water. It is a carefully engineered fluid that serves multiple purposes at once. It cools and lubricates the bit. It carries the rock cuttings up to the surface, and most importantly, it controls the pressure inside the wellbore. The weight of the mud must be carefully balanced against the pressure coming from the formation below. If the mud is too light, the formation pressure can push fluids into the wellbore and cause what we call a kick. If that kick is not controlled in time, it can escalate into a blowout. That is the worst-case scenario in this industry, and everything we do is designed to prevent it. Well control. The non-negotiable. Every driller must know well control inside and out. There is no room for hesitation when it comes to this. If I see any sign of a kick, a gain in pit volume, unexpected flow from the well, a change in pump pressure, I stop drilling immediately and call the Toolpusher. We then follow a strict procedure to shut the well in using the blowout preventer, which we call the BOP. The BOP is a large set of valves installed on top of the wellhead, and it is our last line of defense against an uncontrolled release of pressure. We test it regularly, and we drill the crew on using it so that when a real situation comes, everyone knows exactly what to do. The crew on the rig floor, I do not work alone. My crew on the rig floor includes the floormen, also called roughnecks, who handle the physical work of connecting and disconnecting drill pipe. There is also the derrickman, who works high up on the derrick and manages the pipe racks. Every person on my crew has a specific role, and they all depend on each other. As the driller, I am responsible not just for the well, but for the safety of every person working under me. If someone is moving too fast and skipping safety checks, I correct that. A mistake on a rig floor happens fast, and the consequences can be severe. Safety first. Always safety on an offshore rig is not a slogan. It is how we work every single day. Before we start any major operation, we hold a toolbox talk where the whole crew goes over the risks and the procedures together. We discuss things like trip hazards on the wet floor, hand placement near rotating equipment, and the correct use of personal protective equipment. Near misses get documented and reported. Even if nobody got hurt, it still goes in the safety log because a near miss is a warning and warnings exist to be taken seriously. The well plan and the schedule. Every well we drill has a plan. That plan sets out the target depth, the casing points, the expected drilling rates, and the overall timeline. My job is to follow that plan as efficiently and safely as possible. When something slows us down, like a tough formation or a mechanical issue, we fall behind schedule. That creates pressure from the client and from management. But the answer is never to cut corners. The answer is to work smarter, keep the equipment in good shape, make good decisions at the right time, and recover the time where it is safe and reasonable to do so. Equipment and maintenance. The equipment on a drilling rig is complex and expensive. The top drive, the drawworks, the shaker screens, the mud pumps, the BOP, all of it must be monitored and maintained constantly. As a driller, I am always listening and watching for anything that sounds or looks different. A strange noise from the top drive, a pressure spike on the pump gauge, a screen that keeps plugging. These are signals, and I take every one of them seriously. Small problems that get ignored become big problems at the worst possible moment. Life offshore and the rotation. Working offshore means living on the platform for several weeks at a time. The most common schedule is 28 days on and 28 days off. Though it varies by company and region, you eat, sleep, and work all in the same place. The platform becomes your world for that period. You miss birthdays, anniversaries, and everyday moments at home. It takes a certain kind of person to handle that separation and still stay focused on a job that demands full attention at all times. I have learned that taking care of your sleep, your food, and your mental health out here is not optional. It is part of being good at this job. Communication and teamwork. Good communication is what holds an offshore operation together. I talk to the Toolpusher at every shift change. I talk to the mud engineer about the fluid properties. I talk to the directional driller about the wellbore trajectory. I talk to the mudlogger about the cuttings and the formation. And I talk to my crew constantly throughout the shift. Everyone needs to know what is happening, what the plan is, and what to do if something changes. An offshore rig with poor communication is a dangerous place. An offshore rig where everyone talks, listens, and respects each other is a place where you can get the job done safely and well. What it takes to be a driller. To become a driller, you usually start as a roughneck and work your way up over several years. You learn the equipment, the procedures, and the culture of the rig from the ground up. You become an assistant driller first, working alongside an experienced driller before you take the chair yourself. You need technical knowledge, good judgment under pressure, and the ability to lead a team in a high-stakes environment. Certifications in well control are mandatory. You will also need training in offshore survival, firefighting, and first aid. The path takes time, but every step of it matters. The responsibility. At the end of the day, the driller carries a heavy responsibility. The safety of the crew, the integrity of the well, the efficiency of the operation, and the protection of the environment all sit on that one chair on the rig floor. It is not a job for everyone. But for those who are built for it, there is nothing quite like it. You are working at the edge of what engineering and human skill can do, miles from shore, in conditions that most people will never experience. And when the bit is turning and the rate is good and the crew is working well together, it is one of the most satisfying feelings in the world. Final words. If you are thinking about a career in offshore drilling, my advice is simple. Learn everything you can, respect the process, never take shortcuts, and always put safety first. This industry will challenge you every single day. But it will also reward those who show up prepared, stay humble, and never stop learning. The rig does not care about your ego. It only cares about whether you know what you are doing when it matters most.